It's easy to forget to appreciate the small things. I think I've done that too much. I should have looked at this view more. I'll do that from now on. It's better to walk. Sure, I go to the gym, but will that see me through? Little bits of exercise are better than an occasional hour. I feel like I've had my eyes half closed for so long. No more. I'll stop that drift. I'm going to change things. I don't feel like I chose to be here, but it is a good place. Some routines have meaning and purpose. Other routines are just how we fill our days. I can't believe how lucky I've been, and I took it for granted. Things are okay, but they're not going anywhere. I don't want to lose him. I can't think how often we chatted there, talking late into the night. Maybe we'll go feed the ducks this weekend. I love the way they walk. I didn't expect it, but I feel happy I've made this choice. Patterns. The same start again. The same alarm tone that Harry can sleep through. A routine is good, to a point. I used to love this efficiency, but I feel trapped by it now. I think I'll wear this one. It's Harry's favorite t-shirt on me. I feel like I've barely glanced at this picture for years. I love it as much as when I first saw it. I reread the same books time and again. It's comforting, I guess. These daily things, they're good, but weigh us down too. I've got to a good place in life, but I feel like I'm not taking it further. I usually go to the bathroom first, but I could live dangerously. Maybe I should have breakfast first today. Living on the edge. Was that the first domino to fall, to change the future? Dun dun dun. Tea. A man takes the lead, Grandma would tell me. I guess I need to step up to the line. I've got a great thing here. I should ask Harry to marry me. I doubt that was what she meant about taking the lead. Marriage. I think maybe Grandma would be okay with it these days. Then again, maybe she wouldn't.
Naturally, as Will's grandmother, I knew Will since the first day he was born, of course. I will never forget that first moment in the hospital, when James, that's Will's father, handed me my grandson for the first time. He wriggled in his blue blanket, already a strong boy. James liked that punk thing in the 1980s, and looked a terrible mess to me. He ran 3 pubs in London for those sort of people. I would go over to babysit as often as I could. A child needs someone normal in their life. Sharon was an art teacher. She always had her nose in a magazine full of pictures. It's not the way to inspire a young man to a career, if you ask me. I always thought Will should play outside more. He preferred making up stories, even back then. There was always music playing when I got to the house. Some awful racket. Not the sort of thing a child should be hearing. I always turned it off. Will's mother is an American, Sharon. They met through James's pubs. She took Will away to America for 3 years when she and James split up. They got back together again, though. James liked such strange books, full of horrible things. I remember him telling me about one with rats everywhere. I really don't see the appeal. Will had to play by himself a lot. Sharon had complications at the birth, so he was never going to have brothers or sisters. I only wanted the best for Will. I must sound like I was terribly damning of James and Sharon, but I loved Will as a boy and wanted to give him the best chance of a normal life. I remember an evening where Will was quieter than usual. At first I thought he was ill. He told me that he'd been in a fight. It started because a boy had been picking on a girl, calling her names because of her dark skin. Will was punched in the stomach when he tried to get the boy to stop. I asked him if he had cried, and he said yes. I told him that big boys don't cry. I remember him asking me then, what do big boys do when they're sad? I told him that when he grew up, he would be a good man, able to stand up for others. I suppose I didn't answer his question. I told him that he was right to try to stop the bully. Now I think about it, I don't think he was very comforted. Will tripped on a toy when he was going to bed. I remember carrying him. He was trying so hard not to cry. He was so small in my arms. I've never forgotten that feeling. I have so many little memories making up our lives together. It's odd what sticks with you, though. I took him to bed to read him a story. He went through a phase of being scared of ghosts. Sharon would buy him ghost storybooks, and he had that pop-up haunted house book too. He would never settle properly until I had checked the room for ghosts. I always look carefully to reassure him. I remember that night because I promised him then that I would always be there for him, to protect him regardless of anything. He probably thought I meant about ghosts, but I meant it for everything. It's not the kind of promise you forget. I've been reading him Grimm's fairy tales. I didn't like all the updated nonsense they'd been putting into stories back then. There was a short, very strange story that night, called The Ungrateful Son. It went something like this. Once upon a time, a man and his wife were eating a roast chicken for dinner. When the man saw his father, a very old man, walking along the road towards them, the man didn't want to share, and so he hid the chicken out of sight. The man's father arrived, bid them good day, and continued on his way. The man was happy with himself and told his wife to get the chicken and put it on the table again. But the chicken had transformed into a giant toad, which leapt onto the face of the man. The toad wouldn't leave his face and hissed at the wife when she came near, so she didn't dare approach to help. The man had to feed the toad every day from then on, or it would bite his face, and he never rested for the remainder of his life. Like I say, it was a very strange story. Will was asleep before I finished it, which was probably a good thing. It left me in an odd mood. I wondered how long I would be able to keep him safe. I didn't know where life was going to take him. I was his grandmother, and I hoped I would help him be a good man. I could still see him sleeping there now, like it was only yesterday. I had raised James, so I thought I would be ready for anything from my grandson Will. But I wasn't daft enough to think that it would be easy. The world changes so fast. I remember the family visiting me when Will was a teenager. There's a song by Al Martino, Here in My Heart. That was playing when Robert first kissed me. I listen to it when I'm alone sometimes. I like to go down to Brighton, to the seaside, and I would buy a new glass animal every time I went there, collecting them. Everyone should have a hobby, I think. We've family over in New Zealand. I went to visit them after James had grown up. We still write letters to each other, at Christmas, you know. It's important to stay in touch with your family, even when we're so spread out. My husband Robert died when Will was young. He was a good writer, but I do wish he had tried a bit harder. Still, I loved him. We were all waiting back then for Diana to divorce Charles. It had been such a scandal after that television interview that she did. Us old people still think about these things. But no one was saying much, so I started a conversation. I see that Diana is in the news again. It seems like she's never out of it these days. It's about time she stopped keeping everyone waiting.
I think it's sad. She was bullied into all of this from the beginning.
I could have handled the rest of the conversation better. I lost my temper a bit. Sharon sat there, not saying anything, which was worse than her joining in, but I could imagine her American take on the whole thing. James took Will's side on it all, He always would be difficult in those kinds of things. I wish I'd never even started the conversation. They didn't want to hear my opinion. "Excuse me, I'm going to make some tea," I said. No one offered to help. I felt patronised. I don't think they really wanted tea. I didn't really want it either, but I didn't want to stay in there. I suppose all this seems like a strange thing to remember, but it was a sad day for me. James and Sharon were both adults, but Will... There wasn't any choice in my day, but it gave me a quiet life. That was good enough. It's easier to be different now, but all he could see was the need of one person, at the risk to everything else. It's not good to stick out like a sore thumb. You have to fit in. I was worried about him, getting all these views. It could get him into trouble. I was so scared that Will was going to go off half-cocked and make a mess of his life. I waited, letting the tea brew. And I cried for him. He was young, but he was old enough too. He was going to make mistakes, and I wouldn't be able to stop him. I knew something had been broken that day between Will and I. I took a deep breath and pulled myself together. It doesn't help anything to let others see you get upset. Robert passed away soon after Will was born. I've lived alone since then. It felt tolerable being by myself, until that new distance. It's a terrible thing, to feel detached from your own family. I know I'm from a different generation with different values, but I don't think they're all wrong. I wasn't prepared to accept that Will wasn't going to talk to me anymore. You can't accept it, really, when you see someone you love putting their future at risk. All these free ideas about people choosing their own way to live. He would understand later. But how much later? What damage might he do to his life before he saw that you need to fit in to get along? I was nervous about that Christmas. We hadn't been close for a while. I remember a Christmas after Will had gone to university, but we were all coming back together for the holiday. I tried to keep in touch with friends. Of course, there was no email or that sort of thing back then. There's nothing like a real letter now, though. Doing Christmas by yourself takes a lot of work, but I like to keep busy. I'd been told that Will was going to bring a girlfriend, Sarah. It was important to make a good impression. My family arrived just as the Christmas lunch was ready. It was perfect timing. James is most definitely Robert's son. Kind, but capable of so much more than he does. Did I tell you that Sharon and James split up for 3 years once? Will spent the time in America with her family. It was hard for me not seeing him. He was 10 and, like most boys, he wasn't interested in writing many letters. Sarah seemed a little shy, but she was lovely. She told us about her university courses and was thoroughly charming. Will and I hadn't spoken for months. I didn't know if he understood that when we disagreed, it was only because I cared so much about him. Will was growing up to be such a fine man. He had such fine manners.
Thanks.
It filled me with pride and hope to see him that day. He was becoming the man I had hoped he would be. Sarah seemed like such a lovely match for him. He would have a happy, normal life. But that was the last time I saw her. The next summer, I went to visit Will at university. It's only civil to arrive on time for your appointments, so I started the drive down to see him with plenty of time to spare. I arrived early and decided to have a look at the campus. It was my first time there and the buildings looked lovely. There were so many young people there, all full of life and excited about the future. Lots of beautiful girls around, and I was hoping I might spot Sarah. I never went to university. It wasn't like it is now, where it seems normal to go. It was nice to see so many people improving their lives. I saw Will before he saw me. He was a short distance away, and I couldn't make out what he was doing. Then I saw that he was holding hands with a man. And then, right out in front of everyone, they kissed. I couldn't believe it. I knew that his views would get him in trouble. After all I had tried to teach him, he went and did that. I left right away. I couldn't think of a single thing I could say to him. Will didn't see me. What was I supposed to do? Act like everything was going to be okay for him? He was still so young. There are people out there who won't accept that sort of thing. The university suddenly seemed like a place full of smug, self-satisfied people. Ugly. My generation worked so hard trying to raise up our country, and this was what happened to the grandchildren. It was all a waste. I wanted to be civil, but I was so angry with him, with them all. He was putting himself in danger. That sort of thing. It all just feels wrong to me. Sorry, but that's just the way I feel about this. I barely saw Will for the next few years. I couldn't bring myself to talk to him. I suppose it was silly of me. After university, he went travelling, seeing the world. I stayed at my house. I said that my husband Robert had died when Will was young, didn't I? It's sometimes hard not to live in the past when you have so much time to yourself. probably never really understood how much I loved him when he was growing up. I had such hopes for Will and all the things that he would be when he was a man. He was such a happy, playful boy. And then he changed. But life goes on. I was in the garden. Things do have a habit of getting overgrown if you leave them too long. Will would occasionally send me a postcard from somewhere foreign on his travels. I was still angry at him, but I worried too. He was just off somewhere, before the travel writing became his job. Of all the damn things, I twisted my ankle when I was going to answer it. I lay there feeling like a complete idiot. There was no way I was going to be able to stand. But the doorbell had gone again. I called out for help. I heard someone coming around the side of the house. Will had come to visit after coming back from travelling. After all I had done, after all I hadn't done, he was the one reaching out to me. He was the one who made the effort.
It's okay.
He looked after me anyway. I saw the kind boy that I knew inside the man he had become. I don't claim that I'll understand some of his choices.
Let's get you inside.
I didn't teach him to forgive, but thank goodness he learnt that by himself. I'd been so distracted by just one part of him. I didn't see that he was the best sort of man possible. Kind, strong, and loving. He was even kind to a fool like me. I'll never forget that.
Grandma grew up in different times. She loves me, and she understands that I love Harry. I get that that makes her uncomfortable still, but she is trying. I should go see her this weekend. I don't think I exactly lived up to her ideas of what a man should be like. I'm okay though, I think. Taking responsibility too. Marrying Harry would be a big step. I love him, no doubt there. But will marriage make these patterns feel less like a trap? I feel like he helped me to get where I am, but I don't know if he's everything for the future too. How do people usually decide this stuff? Time to get ready. Love isn't unique. It's common. I was in love with Sarah once. But that changed in the end. What would be the point in marriage? I hurt Sarah when I was with her. I'll hurt Harry too, in the end. I don't deserve someone like him.
My first day at university. My parents drove me in a car stuffed full of everything I owned. I'd been a bit nervous all day, but I felt full-on terrified when we got to the student village. I was faking a look of confidence. I doubt anyone noticed. Probably everyone else was too. Paul always liked Will. I doubt my biological dad would have. It seemed like I had an enormous amount of stuff. I think Mum or Paul must have picked up the keys from somewhere. Weird that I don't remember how we got them now. I went up first. Walking into my dorm room for the first time, I kind of remember how it felt for me. I never thought back then how it would have felt for Mum and Paul. Soon they were going to drive away and go home to an empty house. Just a few more boxes, and their kid wouldn't be living with them anymore. I wasn't paying much attention to unloading. My room had a really thin nylon carpet and the cheapest mattress the university could find, I think, and I didn't care at all. It was my own space. It had 4 walls and a door that I could lock. I was frightened, sure, but also excited. I had my own key and all the stuff that goes with that. Of course, I was thinking a bit about dating. Everyone there was, I think. Wait, no, cute is the right word. I wasn't really thinking about sexy back then. I felt so adult, but I had so much growing up to do. It's funny to think back, like this, now. It was really busy for those first few weeks. Will must have been around at lectures, but I was caught up in meeting housemates and learning the basics of living away from home. The next time I remember seeing him was through the window of the Union Bar. I remembered he'd looked back at me on that first day, and it made me smile. Britpop was still doing pretty well. Good music, Blur, Pulp, that kind of thing, and Oasis weren't just repeating themselves then. Not that the Union was playing much of those. As much as it was tacky in there, I miss it too. It was crowded, hard to talk, and the floor was sticky from spilled Alka-Pops, but it was fun. After I'd seen him at the window, I wanted to talk to him. Maybe more. I pretty much went on the hunt. Finding Will wasn't easy. I definitely wasn't the tallest person there, and the lights didn't help. I think I was changing fast. It'd only been a couple of weeks since I got to uni, but I felt very different. I know it sounds weird, but I always felt that Will was a good person. The kind of person I wanted to be around. It was true too. Considering it was the first thing I ever said to him, it's funny that I have no idea what the conversation was about that I butted into. I don't think there was any doubt about my intentions. It was hard to talk over the music. We had a couple of drinks, and then I remember pulling him outside. I could feel my heart racing, that excitement of anticipation. It was cold, but in a welcome way. We went to sit for a moment, to look at the view. And that was when he first kissed me. We went to the cinema for our first proper date. I remember we sat at the front. I felt quite self-conscious with all the people behind us. We both fidgeted, trying to work out how to start. I shifted to rest my leg against his. It was awkward and definitely not the natural and subtle thing I was going for. I kept looking sideways to see if he was looking at me. I tried not to move my head too much in case he wasn't looking and noticed that I was. I wanted to hold his hand, but he seemed to shy away. Or maybe he didn't intend that. The film had that guy in it who always acts crazy but then does lots of action kick-ass stuff. We weren't really paying attention, I think. It was like everything else faded out. I finally made an actual move and put my hand on his leg. I felt so relieved when he smiled at me. He reached out and gently brushed my cheek with his hand, guiding my face to his. He closed his eyes and kissed me, placing his lips softly onto mine. We sat with our fingers locked together for the rest of the film, and when it was over we walked out, still holding hands. Even as we left, there was something else there. Did you ever have a love that you felt so strongly that you knew it had to end? Will always gave the impression of confidence, like he always had a grand plan. I wish I knew if he saw that end coming too, like I felt it was. I don't know if that would have made how it went any easier. I'd been putting off unpacking all of my boxes, but the next day I finally got round to it. I got out the essentials, of course, but I hadn't felt very motivated to do the rest. I'd packed loads of my old books. Nothing really related to uni, I just liked having them nearby. When I was born, someone from my mum's work gave me a toy bunny. I know it's silly, but it makes me happy. My mum and biological dad split when I was 6. It was rough for a bit, but Mum, me and my brother Andy pretty quickly were happier for it. My bunny makes me think of those good times. I hung up a tasselled cloth scarf that was my mum's. She's a bit of a hippie. Will was going to come over later that week, so I unpacked the candles my mum had given me. I wonder if she suspected I'd fall for someone. She's a bit canny like that. I was falling for him too. Is it weird to tell you this? I couldn't make up my mind where to put things. It shouldn't have mattered so much, but I wanted the place to look nice. It's weird how long you think about such small things. The little choices are important. I guess it didn't make any difference really, but I was happy when I was sure I'd got it right. I wanted to feel comfortable when Will came over. Will and I, it felt like a Romeo and Juliet kind of thing, and just as likely to burn us both as to make us happy. But what a lovely way to burn. That Christmas, I met Will's family. We'd been together for 4 months. Do you remember me there? I don't think I really said much that day. I was head over heels in love with him and very worried I'd say something wrong. We were still at that stage where you constantly want to touch the other person. I loved that, but I didn't reach out with his family or there. I remember he lightly touched the back of my neck as he poured me some wine, and it sent tingles into my stomach. The meal went well, I think. You only get to make one first impression, so I probably should have worn something else. I felt quite self-conscious. I loved him so much, but that feeling I had wouldn't go away, that it was all going to end. That Christmas Day, though, I felt like we had a chance. Things were going well, but over the months, I felt the relationship changing. We would watch videos in bed together, or whatever was on the TV. There was a transgender character on Coronation Street. We talked about that for a long time. I'd never had to think about my sexuality much. I'm straight, and as far as I knew, my friends up until that time all had been too. I just accepted Will for who he was, regardless of his sexuality. It's funny to tell you this now, but I was never jealous of Harry. You'd think I would be, but I loved Will so much. I just wanted him to be happy. Will and me were studying English. Harry was on the course too. There was a spark between Will and Harry, that much was obvious. Will was always happy when Harry was around. I couldn't feel jealous. I wanted them to be happy. I'll never forget that time, seeing their friendship grow. I think we both could feel that an end was going to be inevitable. But we still were in love. We were in love, but lonely too. Feeling like the only people in the world. You cherish the other person, but you long for another life too. Maybe I didn't mind Will getting closer to Harry because it felt like our own love was too much for two people. We often put on music to fall asleep to. Will had a CD recording of a thunderstorm. The sound of the rain was relaxing, but there were a couple of bits of thunder that would make me jump. We listened to a lot of Portishead. Even now when I listen to them, I remember being back in that room, in his arms. As the months went by, we went out less. We would go out to meet up with Harry and a couple of other friends, but it was mostly just Will and me. It still makes me smile, thinking of that room and those days. It might seem odd to you, but it was my suggestion. I told Will to ask out Harry. I loved him. I knew it would make us all happy for Will to have Harry in his life. It was something he needed to do. Helping a person find their true love, that's an honour. It's a kind of magic right there. For a long time though, I wish that true love had been me. Let me paint a picture for you of the end. Will had been seeing both me and Harry at the same time for about 6 months. I can see you think that sounds weird, but it really wasn't. We were all open, safe, and honest about it. The picture. It was in the basement of the Royal Oak in October. You could still smoke in pubs back then, and the faint smell was always there. The seats were covered with tapestry fabric that was worn and faded. The basement was crowded with heavy oak furniture, with the wood grain sealed away under layers of old varnish. I knew what I was going to say to Will. I had a friend before uni who was having boyfriend problems and asked me what love is. I told her that love was being able to tell a person that you never wanted to see them again. Even though it broke your heart to do it, you would tell them to leave you because it was right. I was quite happy with that answer. Like love was something from a Shakespearean tragedy. I hadn't been in love when I said it. I didn't expect to have to do it. I didn't expect to be right. We need to talk.
Oh?
I'm not helping you anymore.
I don't think I follow.
I feel like I'm getting in your way.
You're not. This is good.
It is good, but it's not right. It's not forever.
Isn't this what you want?
I'm happy with you. I love you, but this isn't about me.
I love you too. I want to be with you.
I know, but I don't think you should be.
Is this it? Can I do anything differently?
No, you've not done anything wrong.
I don't want this.
Me either. But it's right.
I love you.
I love you too. I was so in love. I can't tell you how much it hurt to let him go. I never forgot him. Love doesn't just stop. I still carry those memories of our time together with me, like a polished stone in my pocket. It feels so real, like I can really hold it in my hands. I cherish the memory of that time we had. I've never loved anyone like that again. It took me 2 years to get over Will. I could see him falling in love with Harry. Soft and deep love, not like the fire we had. It was beautiful. I didn't really consider that we could all have kept on dating together. You know, it might have worked for a while, but that wasn't what we did. It's just the past. I don't know if what I felt was a proper depression, but it was definitely a really bad time for me. I just worked really hard all of the time and got a great degree grade from it, so that was something good for me from it all.
Sarah and I still meet up. It took a few years before that was comfortable. I still love her. I'm not sure she realizes how much, but not the way I did back then. The breakup was hard, but right. The way I feel about Harry is, it's something amazing. She saw that coming. She's smart. The small things mean a lot. Sarah set me in motion to be here now. A word, an act, just going through everyday life with someone. It all has meaning. I can't believe I'm thinking about proposing to Harry while spraying my armpits. I'm such a smooth operator. It's easy to lose track of the big picture. I love him. I'm being stupid, wanting action and adventure every day. I've got enough of that, and love right here. Or, I wonder if he would like more than only marriage. We could start a family. Kids. Wow. That could be good, actually. Maybe I'll leave that conversation to another day, eh? One thing at a time. Oh, I could propose and he says no. He's never said he wants this, as such. A family together. I think I'd like that. This is going to be a big day. I'll need these. I don't know what lies ahead, but it'll be amazing. It's easy to forget to appreciate the small things. I think I've done that too much. I should have looked at this view more. I'll do that from now on. It's better to walk. Sure, I go to the gym, but will that see me through? Little bits of exercise are better than an occasional hour. I feel like I've had my eyes half closed for so long. No more. I'll stop that drift. I'm going to change things. I don't feel like I chose to be here, but it is a good place. Some routines have meaning and purpose. Other routines are just how we fill our days. I can't believe how lucky I've been, and I took it for granted. Things are okay, but they're not going anywhere. I don't want to lose him. I can't think how often we chatted there, talking late into the night. Maybe we'll go feed the ducks this weekend. I love the way they walk. didn't expect it, but I feel happy I've made this choice.
We loved to feed the ducks on a Sunday. We worked all through the week, and Saturdays we were too tired to do much, but Sundays were our time. It was our place to be together. This whole place makes me think of him. He loved ducks. They always made him smile. It was something in the way they walked. It was the end of the summer, but we went there even in the winter. It was out in the open. We felt free there. And then one day, he was gone. I don't know yet whose fault the crash was, but he was driving. He was alive in the ambulance. But they say he never woke up. I think I prefer it that way. He was dead by the time I got to the hospital. Everything here reminds me of him. I need to clear it all away. Well-worn books. Some of them he read again and again. He told me he would remember these forever. All these things, these reminders of our time together. I never thought I'd be here, wanting them gone. don't need 2 toothbrushes here anymore. When friends come to visit me, they speak to me in a quiet voice, as if a loud sound might startle me. They ask about the missing objects. I say, I'm going for a minimalist look. They nod and give me a strange smile, but I know they don't believe me. They know the reminders hurt too much. I've been walking more since he died. I've been trying to get away from the memories to find something new, but everywhere I go, I see things that make me think of him. I can't face going to restaurants yet. I don't want a table for one. His Singing in the Rain impersonation was wonderfully dreadful. I never worked out if he was trying to be bad at it, or if it was a natural lack of talent. I decided to stay inside more. Keep to the inside. I can control what's in here. But even at work there are reminders. I need this space to be clear, so I can be free. Get rid of all these things. I'll get new things, things that I didn't use with him. How are we supposed to go on in their absence? What would he want me to do? He'd want me to be happy, but I can't think of him yet. And I don't know if I'll ever be able to. I just don't know. I don't know how I feel or how to feel. There's something cold inside my chest, pulling me down. I'm nearly there. It's all gone. He's gone. But he's not. I can't get rid of him. Why won't he leave me alone? I'm different now. He changed me. I feel the space he's left inside me. But it's okay. It's his shape. That's going to be part of me that I carry forever. Denying that would be killing him again. Living on after this, I'll hold on to the love and the memories. Forgetting him. How could I think I could forget him? He'd call me an idiot and laugh, hug me and kiss me and hold me. I miss his arms. He's not gone. Not really. His favourite stories are still here. I'm going to read them all. That was our whole life together. Brief, but so wonderful. I don't know about afterlife things. Maybe I'll see him again someday. Maybe I won't. It's enough to know part of him lives on with me.
I'll never forget him. He reached out to me when I had pushed him away. When he was small, I'd looked after him. But in the end, he looked after me when I needed him. He showed me things I had never seen before.
Okay, so this is the mouse.
Huh.
Yeah, so you can use this to click on things.
He often visited over the years. He was growing up, and the world was changing too. He was becoming mature. And then you came to see me. And then you told me what had happened.
It's one of those strange things. I had just been thinking about Will. We kept in touch a little, then a few years later became friends again when he was working based out of London. It felt good to have him in my life again. He talked about you both often, and his life in general. He told me how happy he was. And then you called me. Hello? He was happy at the end.
He loved you both so much. I keep on thinking I see him, or feeling like he's just sitting reading in the next room. It's silly, really. I was angry. Angry he was gone, that he'd been taken. But I was wrong. He wasn't taken. He had already been given to us. We had him in our lives. We could love him. And we always will. After we had talked, I went back to the park, to the place where Will and I had spent so much time together. They had shared fragments of his life with me that I had never known. I felt a kind of peace. It helped, talking with others. Will was gone, but I wasn't alone. They carry him with them too. I just needed to let myself see that. Life isn't a planned event. It's just a journey. And some travellers only stay with us for a little while. I don't know if I'll love like that ever again. But to have felt it once, and to know that love is real, that's enough for me.